Hey everyone. So this month's seller's tip is kind of on how to plan your move. A lot of people come to their real estate agent and they say, "Okay, I'm ready to move," and you start asking questions and talking to them, and they really don't know. So this is going to try to give you a leg up on other sellers in your area, other buyers in your area, just so you have a better picture of what's going on. So, the first thing that I like my clients to do is kind of know their timeline, know their when, where, and why. Okay, so when do you want to move? Are we talking 6 months? Are we talking 6 weeks? Are we talking this month? When do you want to do this? How quick, how soon are you going to be ready to jump on a house? Okay, the second part of that is the where, which is pretty self-explanatory. If you want to be in Central, then it's good to know that. If you want to move from Central to Pride, that's a good thing to know. It's detriment to know where you want to go. If you don't have a preference, that's okay. But I definitely, if you don't know where you want to go, you might know where you don't want to go, which is also a good thing to know. The why is also important. Just knowing, okay, let's say your daughter graduated from high school, so now you don't need the house that you've got. You're ready to downsize. Or maybe you are on the other side of that coin and you just had a baby, and so now you need a larger house. You don't like the neighborhood that you're in. You don't want to be in a neighborhood. Those are all whys. And that'll kind of help us narrow down what you want. If you don't want to be in a neighborhood, we know we're going to be looking at rural tracts. If you know that you've got a 4 bedroom right now and it's just you and one other person, then we know you can downsize. We know we might be looking at 2 bedrooms, 3 bedrooms moving forward. So the when, where, and why is a crucial element to this for your knowledge, and it makes working with an agent much easier as well. The next part of the equation is kind of picking your agent. It's in my opinion, if you're going to do a shuffle, if you're going to move from one house to another, picking an agent is detrimental. Um, it's just one of those things that we do on a daily basis that you might have only done 2 or 3 times. And so we know exactly what needs to happen, how to make it happen, and what the best route is. When you go to interview your agents, I encourage everybody to interview as many as they want until they feel comfortable making a decision. Picking somebody who you feel is competent. If there's any shadow of a doubt where you're like, I don't know, then maybe that might not be the agent for you. The other thing is, if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. Everybody likes to hear the low commission rates, right? Oh, I don't want to pay that to sell my house. I don't want to pay this to sell my house. Well, you pay for what you get. It's just like anything else. If you go and buy the off-brand cheaper cereal, it's not going to taste as good as the Kellogg cereal, right? And so it's important to know that it's the same with agents. If you pay a higher commission rate, you're probably going to get better marketing, better responses, more responsive, a more responsive agent versus the other side, where if you don't pay a higher commission, if you settle on a 2 or 3% commission, you might not get certain things that you would get with other agents. I encourage everybody to ask all the so-called difficult questions. Have a list of questions that you want to ask everybody. Just a kind of a base list, kind of like a checklist that you would see your boss check when you went and interviewed with them. It's just a good place to start that conversation. When you start to look, it's kind of it depends on your timeline, right? So I encourage everybody to get online. I have a personal website, and the link is down in the email that this video came through. But I encourage everybody to get online and just kind of start looking. Slowly look at your options. If you know you want to be in Pride and there's only one house for sale in Pride that fits your buy box, we know that might push our timeline back because we're going to have to wait for something to come on the market. This is the time period where we're doing photography. We're starting to make the videos to sell your house. All the marketing things that we do. This is kind of where we're going to start that process. That way, when we're ready to go on the market, you've already kind of educated yourself and looked at some houses and asked questions to your agent. And that's where you're going to find that, right? So that's where I start, is online by yourself, ask me questions, that type of thing. As we get closer, I'll start sending you more and more, getting ready to move. When you go to make an offer on a house, it's going to be called it's going to be called a contingent offer. That just means that us buying this house is contingent on our current home selling. It is a lot of paperwork. So if you think selling or buying one house is a lot of paperwork, there's 5 or 6 forms that are 3 or 4 pages a piece. And now you've got to do it twice. You've got to do the buying side on the house you're moving to and the selling side on the house that you're moving from. So ask your agent to explain both sides of each contract and make a list. I encourage everybody to make a list. Just one of those, like the T charts, and one for selling, one side for buying, and write down all the concessions, the price points, everything. Write it down. That way you can go back and look at it and review. If you have a question, say, oh, we're selling for this. I can't remember if we're buying for $455 or $465. Well, you can go back to your list and get that information, right? So after you get through all the contracting, inspection periods, and everything like that, you'll move on to closing. And closing is the fun part of the process, right? So you'll go in, most times it'll be the same title company. You'll show up, you'll go in, you'll sell your house, and then you'll go to the next room over and buy your house, right? So you're just going from one room to the other. Your hand probably will hurt at the end of it, but by the end, you will have sold a house, hopefully made a little bit of money off of that house, and turned around and bought your new house. So with that being said, this is kind of the end of the process, real short overview of what we're trying to do here. But I would love to chat with you a little bit more in depth on how to get the ball rolling, how to start that process, and get you set up on a plan to sell and buy. So all of my information is down below, along with my website. I look forward to chatting with you.